Hey guys, so today I'm bringing you a 2000 Ford Ranger, and this Ranger all of a sudden started driving up a hill, and the AC started blowing. Instead of from the front, it started blowing on the top where the defroster was. So it was losing all air in the front, and it was just coming out from the top, and I figured it was a vacuum leak, and I was actually correct. This thing actually has a vacuum line right here, actually a vacuum hose right here, right in that spot there. So this little vacuum hose was actually broken right here. So all I got to do is just cut it, and you can actually just shove it right back in here, just like that, and then just plug that back in. So this is a little valve. I believe it's the control valve. Usually would be the first step if you're having issues with your AC. So check that valve, make sure that that hose is not messed up. More than likely that's what it could be. So I would check that first. And then if it isn't that, maybe look and see if you have any other vacuum lines, because generally that's what happens when you're driving out. You don't find anything in here, then more than likely it could be that it's an actual bellow issue inside the vehicle. A lot of times the bellows do go bad on different types of vehicles. Maybe not necessarily this vehicle, but I did have an issue with a Volvo that I had, and I didn't have any vacuum issues up in the engine compartment, but I did have issues inside the actual vehicle. That actually has what we call, they're called bellows, and they're like round, and those things generally have like a little vacuum line to them. So sometimes those vacuum lines either break, or the actual bellow itself doesn't hold air anymore. So once it gets pressure, it's no longer holding any air in there, and so that air just escapes and goes somewhere else. So sometimes what you can do is you can actually plug that bellow. If it isn't maybe one of the vents that are coming right at you, you can plug it, and it'll work with everything else, and you won't be losing air when you're driving, whether you have it in one or the other. So in those cases, sometimes if you have it in a different vent, and you do lose pressure of air, then usually one of those bellows is bad, and they're really hard to replace. A lot of times you have to take almost like the whole dash apart in order to get behind there. So I do have if you look at my some of my old videos, I do have one on a Volvo that I did, and I actually just plugged it, actually using like a little fuse. I just plugged that line, and then basically got it to work to where the air is just hitting me. I didn't really care about the defroster part or anything like that, because I just wanted it to work in that one setting. So I basically was able to do that. And it's just a quick video, just kind of showing you something like that, because this happened to me last week when I was driving. I noticed I was going up a hill, and I lost all my air coming directly at me. It was just coming out through the top where the defroster was, and I actually pulled over, and I looked, and I opened my engine compartment, because I remember that line kind of being a little bit brittle, and I said, you know what, it's got to be a vacuum line. So I came in here, and it was actually broken. I could see that I was kind of ready to fall apart. So I took it off and just broke it off, shoved it back in there, and I got it to work. So if that happens to you, maybe it's something simple like this. If you have any questions, hit me up. Thanks for watching again.